death and dismemberment insurance, so
Yeah, but it's got to be accidental.
that was a pretty good accident.
Just has to be made to look accidental.
Yeah, right?
Good point. Good point. So, who's ready to take out the entire cult?
Well, I mean, if I remember right, we ended last session with Chesko shooting an arrow up at the dragon, right?
Yeah, I think everybody else had left the room.
Hey, Chip, what's up?
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Speaking of Chesko, have you guys heard from him?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I don't know if his marathoning, whatever is over with now. He just doesn't want to come back.
He was just a figment of our imaginations all along.
That's entirely possible.
Maybe I should lay off the rum then.
I think it was the mushrooms.
Definitely the mushrooms.
Yeah. Or that frog.
Also could have been the frog, yeah. So, Chip, did you hear the wonderful news?
What, that your computers are all fried or something at 350? Yeah.
What did you do?
I was actually surprised. I was like, well, Ben's going to have a bad night tonight.
Yep. I basically just said, there's nothing I can do to fix it. I don't need to stay here and watch it.
Watch it, yeah. We have I don't know, control boards faulting out or something.
Oh, that's
Something
not
like that.
good. At the plant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good at all.
Yeah. So my understanding is I have my shift electrician down there waiting for Eddie Ship.
Eddie showed up.
To say what we need to do. That's all I know.
So you remember
I've got people on call waiting to see, because if you do need instrumentation support, then we can send them in.
You remember the Nintendo cartridges, right?
Yeah, Lord, yes, of course I do. So is that all that we need to do is go down there and blow on them and put them back in? Good Lord.
Well, apparently pulling out the... no, this is the analog safety card.
Gotcha.
Oh, nice.
This is the one that is supposed to make sure the plant doesn't fail.
Or I can fold up a piece of cardboard and wedge it in there just right.
Yeah.
Get the contacts.
Well, what we found out is that apparently if you unplug it and plug it back in, it works so far.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
We're not serious.
Already.
And this is I'm surprised you haven't heard about this already, because supposedly this is like the 6th or 7th one that's failed in the last little while.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't heard about it.
And apparently stores doesn't want to keep them in stores.
That's
I don't know if
not
they're too
true.
expensive or...
No, because that would have. Stores can't make that decision. I'll make that decision. If you want to keep them, we can keep them.
This is what I was passed on to me from Eddie, I guess. And that
Just
to
give me
order,
the part number.
yeah, to order them is going to take like 6 weeks.
Well, that may be true, but we could have done it 6 weeks ago too,
Yeah,
when you had the problems. But yeah, I don't know who's saying what. You never know. It's the fog of war. No one ever knows what's going on.
So, did Homer accidentally hit the off button?
yeah. So even if we do manage to get things ordered, like tomorrow, we have to hope that this card functions for 6 weeks until we can get a replacement.
Dear God.
Couldn't happen to a nicer department.
People usually say that about people they don't like, Chip.
I mean, of all the places we have an analog cord going out, that was not the one place I would have preferred it. But anyway,
My favorite part is that
We don't use water for this one.
of course, it's on the part of the system that we don't have a backup for.
Just in
Sounds like-
case, you know where your nearest fault check facility is located. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
it's a card that has the emergency shut-off switches for all 4 furnaces and for the valves on our anhydrite stills.
Mm.
It couldn't even be the ASIOs where we at least nominally have a sort of kind of backup.
Right.
Sounds like an inside job to me.
It probably was. And I have a perfect candidate in mind for who did it.
Damn it, Amanda.
Chip?
I wasn't even there.
Someone who wants to prove that they can save the day all the time and get credit for a bunch of stuff.
You know, I thought I
one
was
of
just
those
putting
guys.
in. I thought I was just about to play Metroid. I didn't really know that it was your safety card.
He's like, yeah, I plugged in Zelda on the big screen. I'm sorry.
Chip, you have to blow in it first.
I was ready to do some gaming on my night shift.
Duck Hunt, here I come.
I promise you that wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, I've got one of those at my work, but not nearly as crucial as your job. There's always one of those, right?
1, 10, 100, you know.
We have an 80-20 rule here, so we have 20% that are that way.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I can see that there's... I can see about 80%
20% of the
people at my
population
job.
causes 80% of the problems.
Yep.
Yeah. That sounds accurate.
Yeah, I could see that with my job. There's probably about 75% fluff of people that think they're doing something, but they're really not.
I think that's just America.
Lucas, I don't want to be like mean or anything, but if you got 75% fluff in your business, that's impressive.
It's
And I can understand 20% fluff.
it's not my business.
A lot of fluffers.
Well, let's put it this way.
What industry are you in where you have 75% fluffers?
Well, people
That's
people
actually a
aren't
good thing
getting
in some
work.
industries.
Well, I mean, we're in the business to get work and build work, and over the last year, we've gotten about 25% of the projects that we bid on. So somebody isn't doing their job to sell these projects. So
Yeah, you should be like 50-50, right? Maybe.
at least.
Depending on how competitive you are.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your normal win rate?
100%. They're the
Well-
only business.
The last couple years, I would say we're at least like 40%, 45%, but we've been down the last 2 years, I think. But everyone keeps saying it's like, oh yeah, all the BRAC work is gone, all the government work is gone, and all this stuff. But we're just not getting the jobs.
We'll have a solution
Thanks,
for you.
Obama.
Yeah.
Buy out all your competitors.
Yeah,
There you go.
I don't know what they're doing. They're out there trying to, change the face of the company and change marketing and all this other nonsense, and it's not working.
I know it works.
Yeah.
Everyone roll me a D20.
No Adam this week.
No, he said he couldn't make it.
Well, I guess we were due. Oh shit!
Jeez.
Oh, I probably should get my.
Xavier's in the lead right now. Of course, Newman never listens, so.
Get my book.
Why am I in the lead of? What are we in the lead of?
You're supposed to be rolling a D20.
Run a marathon.
Okay.
Week. Aren't you in?
No.
What Cheska's
No.
been prepping for months.
I always remind people what happened to the first guy who ran a marathon.
Oh, gotta have a roll off.
Oh
Yes! Roll off!
Hey-o. All right, another D20. Here we go. Oh shit!
What happened to the first
Ha
one?
I believe that's
Well, Numa,
Numa.
No wins.
looks like you're giving last week's recap.
Woo.
So glad I took notes.
Me too.
So...
It's nice when somebody cares.
I thought I was just here for my fists.
You're so much more than just your fists, Numa.
You're gonna be
But
an
not
excellent
really.
China merchant.
So I think we talked was that 2 weeks ago when we talked our way out of the lodge?
No, that was last week.
Or was that last week? Gosh, that was last week. Okay, so we talked ourselves out of the lodge, leveled up. The lead woman, what was her name? Lila?
Talus.
Lito? Talus.
Talus.
That was so close.
So close.
Swansonite.
Talus.
Linda, I think. It was Linda.
Oh, Samsonite.
Samsonite. Way off.
So Formica tells us of the situation with her and the half-dragon person. His name is
Dresmere.
something.
Reserve.
Resner. I was almost there. Resner. We probably could have got a little more information about that, but she wants us to make sure that Resner fails at their mission. I'm not sure we're not clear on what that mission is yet, but anyway. So we go through that village. I don't remember what the village was called either, but that's okay. And we enter without any issues into this cloud giant ice fortress castle.
No big deal.
Skyreach Castle. And we do a very good job of acting like we belong there, and they show us down into this, the big treasure room, I guess. And we have our boxes, and now we've discovered a white dragon hanging from the ceiling of the treasure room. One white dragon is my understanding.
Adult white dragon.
One that you can see.
Right, the one that we can see.
So that's what I remember, and that's where we ended it, is the discovery of the dragon.
Yeah, and then we're like,
It was actually a pretty good recap.
we're gonna fight.
Not bad, was it?
I think we decided that we couldn't take a dragon.
A
at this
dragon.
point.
That's right.
Maybe you can't. Watch me.
Oh God.
So I guess we're at the point where we need to, decide whether we're just going to just drop the boxes like we belong there, or
Oh yeah.
freaking run. So, have we actually looked at the dragon yet?
I think
is it
Octavia
just
saw the
noticed?
dragon.
So we don't know if it's sleeping or noticed us yet, right?
I think it's watching us.
Well, I'm going to take
I mean-
a perception check.
Can dragons actually sleep on ceilings? Are they like bats?
That's what I was wondering. Is it a bat-like formation here? I don't know. I'm very curious.
So, as you look up, what you see looks a lot like that.
Oh God.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that confirms Xavier's suspicion about the kobolds that were frozen in the wall.
Very
And-
popular dragon.
Yeah.
And it is hanging from the ceiling. Its wings are tucked in against it. But its head, even though it's upside down from where you are, is looking straight at you.
I attempt no eye
And you
contact.
hear a voice.
Oh.
And the voice first in Draconic. Who speaks Draconic?
Xavier does.
I do.
Says, I hope that you bring me gifts and offerings. Otherwise, I shall sate my hunger.
Thank goodness we all have boxes.
Yep, we got boxes. I'm gonna like kind of like show him the box and then like put it on the ground and back out of there. That'll work.
Make me maybe a performance check. Let's see how well you grovel.
Oh, yeah. Ah,
He accepts your groveling gift and allows you to back out.
I am out. I'm out. I'm free. I'm gone. Good luck, everyone.
I do this the same.
You're not actually quite in there yet. You're still going down the hallway.
Oh, I see.
So Xavier and Aravan, what do you two do?
I will. Go ahead.
Aravan's gonna come forward, like towards the edge of the pile, and try to like, if it's like a lid on the crate, throw open the lid to dump the contents into the pile, into the hoard of this dragon. Otherwise, like try to pry the crate open to dump its contents out. Kind of
Okay, the lid just comes off.
Display of it. All right. And just dumping the contents into this pile so you can see the offering before just backing right back out.
And he says, "Good. Bring me gold and gems. Bring me the treasures of our mother, Tiamat."
I will do the same as Aravan. I will open the crate and dump it, and I'll say in Draconic to it, Lady Talus sends her regards. As I dump it, this is an offering from her.
Where is Talus?
She is back at her lodge. Oh, great.
Did
White dragon.
she send anything else?
There are many more crates left to be unloaded.
You're saying that in Draconic?
Yes. Kind of like here. Yeah.
Good.
Are they feeding you well? Do you want food? Or just treasure?
Bring me sustenance.
I look back to Octavia and I say, give the sausages. Give
I don't have any more. I ate them all.
Numa. Numa, come here. Bring the sausage.
What sausage?
Didn't you take some food from the kitchen?
I think I ate some food from the kitchen.
It was a 2-mile hike. Come on. You couldn't have eaten it all.
Did we? I don't think I stocked up.
Oh, God.
I got the bag.
I do not want your minuscule foods.
What do you
Bring
prefer?
me the meat. Sorry, dog barking.
The meat of a dog?
Oh, no. No. I'm going to make sure I'm in the hallway. I don't want to be in there.
Nope, I want to trip her. Throw her back in. Like, take her.
He finishes saying, "Bring me the meat of the beast of burden."
Ah. I will make sure it's brought to you shortly.
Beast of burden.
Cow. Oh, oxen. Yes, we have one more crate and then we will be back with your food. And I'll wave
Give
Numa.
this message to Talus. I have missed her service. She's the only one who properly understands.
And she'll she'll know what the meaning of she understands you?
He makes no response. He's almost forgotten you at this point.
Okay. I gracefully bow and walk out backwards.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take like 5 minutes.
Jesus Christ. That was
All right.
terrible.
So game plan is one more load of crates and coming right back with a cow or horses or whatever you can bring back.
No, I think once we get out of this hallway, we never return until later.
We never returned. You're the one who promised.
Like
us.
level
Yeah,
15.
Like, you made this thing a promise. I
Yes.
don't
Why
want to
would
be
you
breaking a
promise it?
promise you made to this massive white dragon.
But later.
No, I don't like this thing is hungry now. I don't want it to eat us
Where are
rather
we
than
gonna
just
find
offer it a
Where are we
cow.
gonna find an oxen?
One of the oxen that led the cart in.
You carried
the other
it.
guys. The other guys' carts. They had decent-
Okay, I guess we're gonna lead an oxen down the stairs.
I would much rather that than leaving this thing to go hungry.
You know that
After you
house
made it a promise.
downstairs?
Hey, I got us out. Ish.
We were walking out. You made it a promise.
Hey, you know, befriend a dragon. It might be helpful.
Oh, that's like making deals with devils.
Yeah?
Could be helpful, yeah.
There's no
There
written,
are always drawbacks.
no written contracts. It's okay. Who's carrying the banner, by the way?
Me. No. I gave it
Caden.
to Numa.
Is Caden carrying it?
Give it to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I gave it to someone because I was going to carry a box and I want to carry the banner.
Because that was Lady Tanis's banner.
You know.
Or Tanis. The rum is working. Oh, it eases the pain.
We got the white woman's banner.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I didn't think it was smart to lie to a dragon, but
You don't have to lie to it. You just don't make it a promise that you don't intend on
sorry.
seeing through.
I was scared.
Then it's agreed. Xavier's not allowed back into that room.
He will not bring the food back. No. He will. He can wait by the cart. I don't know if it's safe to leave him alone, though, either. He's kind of a troublemaker.
Excuse me.
Get the manacles and the duct tape.
I have the manacles. Haha!
Hello. Xavier, can I see those manacles for a moment?
No.
All I do is eat the food.
There's the
Not a
problem.
problem.
That's the problem. If we had sausages, he wouldn't have had to make the promise.
Should know better than to let Octavia carry food by now.
We didn't let you carry it. We were like, pick up a pack for the whole group and we'll travel with it. And we got here and the pack was empty. It was the last 10 days.
Well, I mean, he asked for the sausages, not the pack. Just saying. Sausages are gone.
That's the problem.
There was other food in the bag.
Nope, just sausages.
No, it wasn't. Believe me, I know I carry a very close inventory on my food. None of it was ham. Velvets. Turtle. Nothing with antlers either. I'm kind of iffy on eating anything with antlers.
I'm not supposed to eat the antlers.
They never did say what was on top of the castle.
Aravan, can you summon an ox steed? Feed it to this dragon.
I could, but upon its demise, it turns back into nothingness.
Then you would be at fault. Ha!
You're really not talking me into it.
Damn. That's a lot of gold, though.
I almost went swimming in it, and that would have got me killed.
Oh, boy.
All we have to do is come up with a very, very, very clever way of taking out this white dragon in its own lair, and all that gold is ours.
We could feed it a really big chunk of cow and let it choke on it.
There we go, perfect. Boom, flawless.
Filled with poison? Hmm?
Feed it a clumsy ox.
Clumsy ox.
I know one of
Choke
those.
something.
I know where a good ox to feed it is. It's in the Feather Gill's Fire.
Hopefully.
Well,
Who knows when that happens in this timeline?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday. I got a surprise. Hopefully it works.
me too.
Me three.
Put her on one
What
table,
happened
be
to
fine.
surprises? Your surprises are not allowed anymore.
My
Why not?
surprise. It's our best.
They're so much fun. Like, I bit a shark. Like, come on.
Right?
I'm sure.
And you made that shark a slug and threw him into an interdimensional hole.
Like, I mean, come on now. You gotta admit, that was awesome. I mean, how many times can you say, oh yeah, a character bit a shark person? So much fun. I'm gonna miss him.
What, the shark person?
No, Cognar. I have it perfectly mapped out, so hopefully it works.
Stupid headset still doesn't work.
Why doesn't your headset work?
I don't know. Like as soon as I decide to turn it on, it won't pick up any sound or anything. Like, but it says it's connected and everything. But it's like, and like you can hear the first like 3 words, and then it shuts off, and it's like, nah, we're
Battery
done
dead?
now. No, it's charged for like a week straight. It always is charging.
Well, there's your problem.
No. Literally only died once. Been good.
I don't know what we're gonna do once we get out of this little area.
We still have to convince an entire castle that we're good guys.
Mm-hmm.
going to do in this area. Suppose we could follow the fork to the left, see where that goes. Go down to the south of the spiral staircase, see if that goes anywhere interesting. So like currently, the plan for Resmir, I guess what is the plan for Resmir? Just like find her as quick as we can, kill her, and try to find a way out? Or find a way out and then try to find her? For what?
Well,
Or just not do anything, leave forever and never come back and just forever sit there.
Well, we're already off the ground, so at the very least we have to find a way out.
well, I think we need to get into her chambers. Because if she had any kind of good loot, like she did at the last place, could be worth it. So
And roughly how many people around her are we putting the limit at before we saying, okay, nope, we're going to wait for fewer people? Like, if there's like only one other person with her, do we still go for it? Do we wait for her to be absolutely alone?
well, I think
know
after
she's
the
got
last
some
attack, I
fun
doubt
there.
she'll be absolutely alone.
But like, we can wait for that moment, like when she's sleeping or something.
I would say like 2. Like
Alright.
if she's got 2 people with her, I think we can take her.
All right.
It's just that she's got that darkness bullshit.
Bullshit for you.
Can you see in darkness?
I can get it gone really fast.
I don't need to see darkness.
I'm just. She's got to have something. I mean, she couldn't have taken everything, or left everything. She has to have something of worth. So I wonder which one of these dragon names are
The white one.
just the white one, or what I think is dragon names in that book.
Well, if I'm right, it's Lagothkus. Because the 2 dudes that the guys in front
Mm-hmm.
did the Hail Tiamat to said Hail Lagothkus outside of the Skyreach Castle.
What if that's a giant?
It's entirely possible.
It's just a giant's castle, not
Yeah.
a dragon's castle.
I'm just saying they got the dragon here, and I haven't seen a giant yet, so
Well,
I'm going off of this is my brainstorm. That's the name I heard. That's the name I'm assigning to this dragon.
I don't know. If this was like a leader of a castle, I wouldn't put him in the dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, is it possible that the giant or Talia has tasked this dragon to just guard the treasure?
It's entirely possible.
I mean, that would be what dragons are good at, right? Guarding treasure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you are more than welcome to throw any of the other dragon names back at it when you return with the meal.
I can start from the top of the list and work my way down. Be like Glazehail. Oh wait, Glazehail. Hail. Ew.
There was one of 2 names in Draconic, which is another reason I was thinking of Lagothkus is less giant, maybe more dragon, if that name was written.
These might all be dragon names that we got from the book.
Or at least maybe like half dragon names.
Yeah. Oh, we should have studied what the names mean in Draconic. Excuse me.
I'm putting that on you guys because that was before I spoke Draconic. I think. All right, so Numa, what's the plan?
Well, we get out of this room, and I guess by accident figure out how to navigate and explore this castle without raising the alarm. To try to, I guess, figure out a little bit more about this relationship with the dragon. Maybe we can just go interview some of these guys about the white dragon up in the courtyard.
Did Talus tell us anything else? She just said go to the castle, right?
She says, screw what's her name's plan up, so I guess we got to figure out what the plan is.
Yeah, so we got to get closer to the cult. But we need some espionage. That's what we need to do. I really want that treasure hoard, though.
I know.
I can't stop thinking about it. So much gold.
We gotta come up with a plan.
How to kill a dragon.
We just need like 30 more bags of holding.
Put it all in.
Mm-hmm.
Shove Octavia into its throat. Octavia's armor might be jagged enough that it'll choke on her. What did you say, Octavia?
Worth the shot.
All right, she said.
Let's do it.
Brought you our beast of burden.
All right, so what are you guys doing?
We are
I think we
putting
just
Octavia to the
volunteered to
dragon.
put up Octavia as our beast of burden.
She volunteered as tribute.
Okay.
No, we're joking.
Well, that worked for me. So,
So we are heading out from this dragon vault room.
okay.
Upstairs.
I believe Numa
That's
dropped
what we
his box.
Yeah, I'm presenting the box, just like, I guess, Octavia.
All right. And the dragon doesn't seem to be talking to you.
That's fine with me.
So, I'm going to assume that everyone drops their loot off, and you guys are going to start heading back up. Now, I'm trying to remember, was Caden trying to start a ritual last week?
He was
detect
gonna try
magic.
and locate objects to see if he could find that object we were trying to find, I think.
That was detect magic.
Yeah, because we were going to search for loot.
We found the loot. So I
Yeah.
think
He was going to do detect magic while we kept delivering crates so that he could find specifically like magic items that might be nearby.
I think that might
Okay.
not be wise anymore, though. Now that we ran into a dragon.
Well, one of you two is going to have to play him, so
can dragons sense when people are casting spells and stuff?
you can make me a nature check.
I don't want to find out.
I'll take it.
Where is it? Ah,
You're not entirely sure. You know that they're very powerful, and that they certainly have magic. Not sure exactly what else might be going on there.
there's a dragon in the room.
Can I do a specific check to a white dragon's capabilities?
Sure.
All right, what do you want for that?
Nature.
Okay. 18?
So what specifically are you trying to find out?
Means of attack, that kind of thing. Specifically,
Well-
battle type things.
You know that white dragons are, make their homes in glaciers and ice caves and things like that. So, that like all dragons, they have a powerful breath weapon. They are, magic creatures. So it's entirely possible that they could actually cast spells.
Ooh.
You're not 100% sure if that's all dragons or if that's just the particularly powerful ones, or
Right.
But you know that you've got to, if you're going to be facing a white dragon, you better be prepared for the cold in the most literal sense.
Gotcha. As I look past the kobold as we walk by.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's a flesh wound.
I think we should get out of here and maybe make our way towards the upper part of the castle.
Yeah, we need to finish delivering the boxes.
Right.
Agreed.
And then go from there. I guess we just try and find a cow now. Thank you, Xavier.
So,
He might.
first, who's playing Caden?
I can play Caden.
Right.
Okay. So let me set that up for you. All right, Caden should be available. Now, we're about to enter what I like to call a skill challenge.
Yay!
I like these.
Right.
Oh dear.
So, I'm going to assume, unless you guys tell me otherwise, that you're going to continue unloading the cart, making the deliveries that you were initially told to, take all that stuff down there. And before we officially start the skill challenge, I will allow you guys to try to find the food you've now promised this dragon.
Yes, I would like to search for a cow.
Could Caden stay down here, like roughly where he is on the map in this tunnel, and continue to focus on his ritual for the next?
You sure can.
So, okay. And with regard to the meal that Xavier promised this thing, on our return upstairs, is there any sign of where the cart in front of us led their oxen or horses?
Yeah, there sure is.
Looking for some cattle.
So, if you go back up to the other map,
Lower courtyard?
yep, lower courtyard. I see a couple of you on there.
It's loading for me.
Yeah, these are big maps.
There we are.
So, you guys are coming up the staircase, which is right over there. Do you see the purpley arrows?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The cart that you guys are unloading is parked like right here.
Mm-hmm.
You see a door right there, and the other cart pulled down over there.
All right,
But
I
our
will
cart-
casually
Our
walk
cart
towards the
didn't
other
have
cart.
a cow on it. So can we
Nope.
see a cart with a cow?
No.
So I'm gonna casually walk towards that other cart.
Well, first, I want to read you, or I guess I will give you the description of the inner courtyard, which we had not discussed before. So you see, 100 feet above your head, another courtyard. Or another area of the castle. And there are these large ice doors on hinges in various places. So, you're coming back up the stairs. You do see the cultist who directed you to take your stuff down those stairs. The guy who gave you directions. You see him walking in that door as you come back up to the top of the stairs.
I'll kind of say, hold that, friend. I've got a question for you.
He's already through the door.
Damn. All right, I'll kind
Hold
of.
faster.
What?
So hold faster.
Yeah, hold faster. I will kind of jog towards him.
Okay.
I'm doing the same.
All right.
I'm gonna make my way back to the cart.
I'll follow Octavia, continuing with crates.
All right. So, Xavier, you and Numa are making your way to the door.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What are you going to do?
Trying to catch up with that guy.
Yeah. So.
He has gone through the door.
I'm going through the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knocking first.
Make me perception checks.
I don't want to seem rude.
That's right.
Xavier.
Oh no, the bag of holding left us.
Xavier.
I think that's him saying that he's going to be right
I thought you were the bag of holding.
Nope. But I can roll you a d20. I don't know what its modifier is.
Go ahead. Okay, good enough. So, Numa, even you can hear as you come up closer to the door, there's quite a bit of noise behind this door.
Like it's full of people.
There's some banging. There's like a lot of kind of yipping going on. You hear clanging, like a couple of like.
Oh Lord. room full of kobolds. I bet. Do I recognize this as kobolds from our days in the cave when they were?
You can't quite hear it that clearly.
Okay.
But if you'd like to go ahead and open the door, feel free.
I'm back.
Can I kind of crack the door? Now that I hear this.
Well, now that Xavier's back, he's in front, so.
Okay.
Oh, I'll crack the door.
All right. So as you start to open the door, like the noise gets a lot louder just as soon as you open the door. And there's clanging, there's barking, there's just, it's riotous is the best way to put it. And as you look inside, you see that the scene is pure chaos.
Oh, jeez.
Dozens of kobolds chopping, mixing, carrying sacks of ingredients, and stirring great cauldrons. It could be an alchemical lab or a kitchen with kobolds cooking. It's very hard to be sure.
All right. Do we see the cultist that we were trying to catch up with?
You do. He's kind of like made his way into a corner of the room and is sort of like looking over everything.
I'll try to grab his attention. I'll raise my hand and say, "Can we talk for a little bit, for a moment?"
Make me a performance check.
Oh, shit. This is where it all falls apart, Numa.
Me,
It's okay.
12.
Okay, he sees something over by the door and finally kind of sees that someone's trying to get his attention because it's really loud in there.
Oh, okay.
But he starts to come over your way,
Okay. I'll meet him like halfway.
and also while you're waiting for him to kind of come over, you happen to glance up, and you see that up in the rafters above the kitchen, there's a griffin.
Oh, jeez.
This is not a good kitchen.
It's getting worse and worse.
You know, for a dragon?
I'll look and just act casual.
Okay.
Try to.
The guy walks over and he says, "Have you moved the crates?"
Yes, we're finishing up right now, but the dragon requires food. Do you have an oxen?
Blessed
that we
be
can
time, but that dragon's appetite.
Do you have an oxen we can give it before it tries to eat us?
Yeah, you'll have to come with me. And he starts to lead you over out of the kitchen.
Okay. I'll kind of pull my head and have Numa follow.
So the two of you are following him. He starts going across this way.
Okay.
And he goes and he pushes open these two doors. And beyond that, you see there's kind of like a smaller courtyard. You can see. Yeah. And
Are our icons supposed to be on this map? Or are you just...
No.
we're doing this theater to the mind. I'm just trying to
Okay,
reveal
that's
the map
fine.
as you find
Just
it.
want to make sure.
And he says, "Give me just a moment." And he steps up to that door
Okay.
and he knocks. And you hear a voice coming from inside the room that says, "What is it?" Excuse me, your grace and mighty. The dragon wishes more food. Fine.
Did he say a name?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
And the door cracks open just enough for a hand to extend out, and with a key. And you hear a voice much more clearly. "Take it a side of beef or some such, and then lock the storage room again. I expect to have this key returned to me." Yes, the purple one.
Purple one.
And
Does the hand look familiar?
it looks like a black claw.
Like the one I saw in Waterdeep?
I mean,
Okay.
you're not entirely
Right.
sure.
But it is black claw-like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the door slams, and this guy turns around and goes across the little hallway there and uses the key to unlock this other door. And says, "All right, come along. We mustn't keep the dragon waiting."
I follow.
And inside there, you find, as he unlocks the door, a storeroom. And inside the storage room are several, sides of beef, entire, half cows and oxen, ham hocks, huge barrels, hundreds of crates. And it kind of has a smell mainly of burlap and salt of all things.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help but notice that the fact that this room is carved out of ice seems to make it an ideal storage place for food
I
items.
see.
But it is full of food.
Is he going to grab the side of beef, or is he instructing us to grab the side of beef?
He's basically saying, "Come on."
Okay.
And if you and Numa are willing to grab the half of the cow between the two of you, he's more than happy to let you carry it.
All right, I'll grab it and say, Numa, can you grab the other side, please?
Yes.
And I'll throw a ham hock on top and carry it.
Make me a strength check with it.
A what check?
What's it?
Strength.
Oh God.
You are doing 81.
Oh, roll 20.
Nice.
Okay, so
Yeah, Ben's internet is crapping out.
make it, buddy.
John Robot, yeah.
Robot. My rolls didn't go through. I saw a 19 on one of them.
I see
There
it
it is.
19, drop
I
it
see a
7,
19.
and it was 15.
Did you say you advantage on this strength check?
I believe that's what he said.
So, is that better?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. So, with that 20, you guys are able to carry the side of beef and the ham hock back towards the stairs without much trouble. And the cultist basically just says, "Just throw it in the floor next to the treasure. I wouldn't try to feed him directly. He's a bit indiscriminate in his feeding."
Noted. And as we're walking back towards the door, I want to kind of take a peek back at him and see if I see more of the person behind the door when he hands the key back.
Well, you're going to have to kind of wait there. It would look odd if you just stopped to try to, see him hand the key back.
Okay.
So, you guys start heading down the stairs with the food. Aravan and Octavia, you guys have started getting more crates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I think my plan was to just keep bringing crates down to the dragon's lair so that a relatively steady flow of crates can be seen by anyone watching while Caden's finishing up his ritual. We're kind of covering.
Right,
Yeah.
10-4.
Okay.
So, you guys have made one more delivery, and you're on your way back up the tunnel as you see Xavier and Numa coming down the stairs, or about to come off the stairs, and Octavia can't help but notice that they have a ham.
I was about to say, if I see the ham, she's gonna start to drool. Is all of that for the dragon? We can't keep any ourselves.
No, I got the ham for you, Octavia. That way you can think straight while we're here.
I'm so excited.
Please take it. It's getting heavy.
I'll stuff it
Can
in
we
my
be sure
pouch.
that this ham hock isn't infested with that disease we heard of before?
It's
You're a
okay.
cleric. Can't
It's
you
okay. I
purify it?
can cure it.
Very well, and Aravan's just going to try and push past him to keep going for it.
I'm gonna shove it in my bag really, really fast, and then I'm gonna follow Aravan. I'm just like a kid on Christmas. Like, oh my god, I have a ham.
The simple things.
Okay. So you guys go and you drop off the half cow, and the dragon kind of flexes his neck, and you see him like start walking down the wall, like across the ceiling and down the wall.
That's not creepy.
And he comes over and just basically in one big bite takes the side of beef that you laid on the floor, gulps it down, and then kind of, stretches a little bit, and you see him stretch out his wings. And the wings are a good 80 feet across.
Oh, jeez.
Like, let's see. Yeah. They're almost touching the sides of the
cavern.
Or one wall of the cavern, and there's like a little cliff almost, with the way the arrow's pointing. That makes it hard. You can't see up above it.
Oh, jeez.
And then he kind of, shakes a little bit, kind of like a dog, stretching, and walks back up the wall.
Oh, jeez.
And returns to his spot on the ceiling.
I scuttle out of there.
So there's probably still maybe 5 more crates to unload from the wagon.
We will keep on keeping on, and I'll be dreaming about the day I get to eat the ham.
All right.
So when we went to the storeroom, I see like a little table and chairs. Was that just like a guard station or something?
You mean out there in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's just a place to set some things down. This looks kind of like almost like an atrium.
Okay.
For this little portion of the hall. There's the storeroom. You see a room that seems to have someone with black claw-like hands residing in it. Someone referred to as "O Purple One." And that's all you could really see while you were down there.
Okay.
So is there such a thing as a purple half dragon?
Resmir was pretty purple.
Not black. But I mean, that doesn't make sense to me.
That's what Resmir looked like.
Oh, okay. So, purple one could be the
Could be that one.
Yeah. Okay, so we know where Resmir is. Right?
You're remembering that you've heard some of the cultists referred to as wearers of the purple.
This is getting...
Because we've also heard Talus refer to Resmir as the Black Wing.
Yeah. So I assume when we left that guy, he kind of went back into the kitchen area thing?
By the time you made it back up, you don't see him.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we just... I go ahead and help and grab another box, and one more trip should do it.
All right, and about this time, Caden finishes his ritual. And he's now able to sense magic out to a distance of, I believe, 30 feet.
30 feet, yeah.
And other than what you guys are wearing at the moment, he doesn't really sense anything.
Could he look like he's assisting with one of the crates on this next trip? People are of crates coming in to make his own way into the Dragon's Horde room, with the crate.
Sure.
To get that 30 feet into the room to see if there's anything worth magic.
Right. There we go. So, where would you like him to drop his treasures?
Presumably, like as close to the center of this room as we can get.
Kind of like about there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as he is delivering one of these last crates, he's sort of trying to pay attention to what might be in this massive pile. I mean, it's distracting enough that there are, clearly thousands of gold and silver and copper pieces in this massive pile. There's, things, lots of just pieces of artwork, candlesticks, anything you can imagine that might be deemed valuable is basically in this pile. But as he is sort of walking to the middle of it to deposit one more crate of stuff, he does notice at least 3, maybe 4, maybe more items that are emanating some kind of magic.
Are they like just scattered about or like all piled up in a specific area?
Scattered about.
Hit the search.
Yeah, like if we had to run through here real quick.
The one that he can see instead of just feel, right about there, he can see about half of a set of leather armor that is clearly glowing, at least to his vision.
Oh, wow.
All right. Cool.
So, since we're all in the tunnel and alone, I'll tell Aravan and Caden and Octavia about what Numa and I saw when we went to go get the side of beef. There's a locked storeroom just to the right when we come off the stairs. And there's a room to the left. There was a being, a creature, a person, with a black claw. It might be Resmia. They were referred to as the Purple One.
And you said something about a griffin.
Yes, I'll tell you about the griffin right now. There's a griffin in the kitchen.
Did it look wild or tamed?
Looked like it was ready to eat a kobold.
Any sort of a barding around its saddle of that sort?
I only got a quick look at it. It was up perched.
What you could see is that it seemed to basically have been roosting up on a kind of a platform built into the rafters.
From what I could see, it did not look like a mount. It looked like it was sleeping or laying up in the rafters watching the kobolds as they were either cooking or doing some form of alchemy. I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe I'll take it out of there.
Maybe what?
I'll take it out of there.
Could be.
Should push come to shove. Maybe able to carry at least 2 of us.
Yes.
Griffins, are there normally more than one? There's the griffin. They kind of travel in packish type things. We assume there might be more around the castle. Just to recheck, I read a book on Charlie.
So she's making us some good shit there.
Could I make a nature check? See if griffins typically roost in packs, or
Yeah, that's what I was at.
at the very least, this type of griffin that Xavier has described to us. This seems like the type of pack griffin.
Is this an
Lower.
Eastern European griffin or an African griffin?
Yes.
Go for it.
The beak more curved or pointed?
Griffin.
Yes, in nature, griffins are somewhat social. You don't, they're not quite like birds where you'd expect to see flocks of, dozens or hundreds of them. But it's not unusual if griffins have a nest or a roost in a certain area for there to be, maybe as many as a dozen in the same general vicinity.
The type of griffin you're describing may have more in its numbers, especially if they are being tamed.
That
Well,
could
then that
indeed
could
be
be
helpful.
good.
So what's our plan after we get the last of these boxes done?
Explore the castle, I suppose. They didn't really tell us where to go after, so
And starting right now,
get an idea.
you guys have 10 minutes to hash out ideas, and then we're going to start the skill challenge.
Oh no. Oh, the pressure's on.
I'm with Octavia. I believe scouting out our surroundings, whatever our plan may be later, will be most opportune to take the time to look at it out now.
And then we could get an idea as to how many people are here. I mean, not like there's 231 people here, but like there's a lot of them, and this is kind of how they group. And we get an idea as to maybe the guard shifts or something. There was in fact a giant in this massive castle, or if it's just the dragon's castle. Voting. Figure out how that works.
Where the rest of these tunnels lead.
Where they're planning on going would be good. I mean, if they're just going 3 miles to the west, then we really don't have to worry about an escape route. We could probably hopefully just get off like normal people.
If they are planning another attack with this sky fortress, perhaps Octavia could send word to Leosin to warn them beforehand.
That too. Yeah, I think best plan of action is to scout around, just kind of dig up as much information as we possibly can, without giving away who or what we are.
Caden's going to take this opportunity to inform the party of the few magic items he sensed beneath the surface of some of the gold coins, as well as the magical leather armor he saw poking out.
Well, that could be helpful. Alright, so, plan. I mean, we could go straight into the purple one's room and see what happens. Or I guess we can try to mingle and figure out what's the purpose of this floating castle.
I think it's best to mingle first and poke where our noses don't belong second.
I fear the longer we mingle, the worse our chances that Resmir will pop out, or that red wizard somewhere recognize our faces.
But we can't mingle for
Mingling.
long, but long enough to get an idea, hopefully.
Agreed. Not too long.
So we want to get... Our ultimate goal here is to stop Resmir, right? I mean, our first primary goal.
Primary goal, yes.
Alright, so we need to get in close with the cultists, figure out where Resmir's domicile is, and maybe we go into her room and lie in wait, set a trap?
Perhaps might even be able to drop the name Resmir, that god who took you to the storeroom. If that claw did indeed belong to Resmir, perhaps you might be able to read it upon his face.
Yeah, I can even play off that, the Lady Talus angle.
But careful with that line, though. Judging by what we were sent here to do, it's possible that this Lady Talus and Resmir are not close friends by any means.
It sounds like they were once.
But perhaps no longer.
Yeah. That'll be a last ditch.
Just be careful.
Yes, opening my fat mouth gets me in trouble. Okay. Well, that sounds like a decent plan. Is we gotta figure out where the cultists, I guess the cultists like main barracks, I guess, is. Get where they're kind of loosey goosey. Maybe if there's a tavern or something, like a watering hole on this castle. Loosen a few lips, get some information, and then I agree. The sooner that we go and take the fight to Resmir, the better.
Yeah, so I think we got a plan, guys.
And then the secondary goal is to not let this loot get to wherever it's going, because they want to bring back Tiamat, and I think they're using the loot to do it. But that's just me.
Numa, you have anything to add?
I take your silence as agreement.
All right.
We will make sure we don't break any china. We can help.
I'm still worried about this being a giant.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So as far as Newman's concerned, yeah, the last thing he wants to happen is that loot to get to wherever it needs to get. So, totally agree with that. I'm kind of nervous about wanting to fight Resmir in the middle of their castle, but
If we can do it quietly.
if we can do it quietly, as long as we don't raise the alarm like we did in the last castle we stormed, I think we'll be fine.
What's the worst that could happen?
Perhaps even the more public the fight, though, the better it could be. It's seen as a challenge to Resmir for position.
Now you could do you want to con them that think that you're a representative of Talia and that she's not happy and that taking Resmir down because he sucks as a dragon cultist?
You could do the hat of disguise and make it look like Talus is.
If our circumstances are dire, and that we are confronting Resmir while surrounded by a great number of cultists, I will try to pursue this path.
I think that could be fun.
Okay, so get information and attempt to take care of Resmir quietly. And if we can't, we do it publicly and with much fanfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Aravan. The more fanfare, the more interesting this could be, because no one would be stupid enough to do that if they weren't with Talia.
Yeah.
But we are.
We're definitely dumb enough to do that.
I only recommend this if we're unable to confront her in private.
If we can kill her in private, then no one will know.
If she travels with an audience, perhaps this might be a means to still confront her. Put an end to her.
I agree. Okay, sounds like a plan. So, intel, assassinate / challenge to the death.
We can do it.
Oh my god. I will be right back.
You still got 2 minutes if you don't want to play anything else.
Well, I'm sure there's lots more that we've missed.
Trying to
We're gonna
find
go around the corner and there's going to be like this massive ogre or something. It's just going to smash us. We're like, better up
also trying to find a means of escaping this place, safely descending to the ground.
Well, yeah, if we could find more griffins, that'd be cool. If we maybe talk to the Griffin Master, if they're the Griffin Master.
If you can find one.
We just really have to talk and figure out more of what's in this castle. Because, I mean, clearly there's a dragon, so, you know, who else knows? Like, what else could be in here? So we kind of need to get an idea as to what the dealio is.
So while some of the party are out rubbing shoulders and attempting to gather as much information as they can, I think the others should be scouting out the locations. These tunnels, a number of the rooms that we can get into, and the like. Perhaps.
Yes, that's reasonable. I think I'm better with talking to people. People seem to really enjoy my conversations. If all else fails, I'll just sleep with them to shut them up.
At least you've embraced the truth. Okay, you've got 13 seconds.
Jeez. I'm so scared. Okay.
If the party is splitting up, Aravan is going to cast aid on 3 of us.
Skill challenge.
We need
All
like,
right.
music for that.
Here's how this skill challenge is going to work.
Okay.
Is everybody here?
I think Lucas said he'll be right
Lucas
back.
is BRB.
Is Numa still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So as soon as Lucas gets here, I'll explain the rules. And why Lucas is going to fail badly at all of them.
We roll a d20. On a 1, we fail. On a roll of 2 to 20, we fail.
Oh, it's not that bad.
So we roll a D100. To 100, fail. But if we manage to roll a 101, we succeed.
On a 1, we automatically crit fail. On a 2 to 99, we fail. On a 100, we get a roll again.
I like those odds.
Lucas. I thought surely like the Lucas chant would bring him back.
I mean, you were able to summon ships.
Like when you go to a concert and like the warm-up band's done, the other band hasn't started yet, you know.
In general, I'm always listening. I just have it on mute because my house is especially rowdy tonight. We're making slime,
Ooh.
fluffy slime, and my daughter has failed 3 times. So
Fluffy slime.
At least
Yeah.
she hasn't given up.
So if you haven't heard this, there's actually a shortage of glue in the country. Elmer's having a banner year and can't keep up with production because the main ingredient of fluffy slime is glue.
I had not been aware of that.
Truly a national crisis.
It is. So all the preteens that they are making it out the wazoo and selling it. I don't know, different colors, all kinds of stuff.
Nickelodeon's buying it by the truckload.
That's non-fluffy slime, so that's proprietary.
I don't know the difference.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I
What
don't
makes
either.
slime
Chip,
fluffy?
you're about to make me have to search for Elmer's glue shortage.
Search it, baby. Search it.
Wait, is that the kind of fluff that Lucas was talking about?
No.
There's a whole lot of slime.
You do not, in that industry, you do not want to do any fluffing with glue.
Chip, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds nasty.
You lose talent that way. You lose your talent.
And your audience.
Jasmine, have a good time.
Being it is nasty if you don't know what we're talking about. But someone's got to do it, apparently.
So,
The real heroes.
The real heroes behind your favorite porn.
here you go. A bizarre Instagram fad is responsible for Elmer's glue shortages across the U.S.
See there?
Sliming has taken over social media. It's causing stores to run out of Elmer's glue. In the last several months, photos and videos of slime have become an Instagram sensation. The homemade gooey gunk, once simply a middle school craft, is made by combining Elmer's glue, borax, water, and food coloring.
There you go. You learned something today.
In the second half of 2016, Elmer saw an increase in liquid glue sales, due in large part to slime mania. Elmer's grew sales 9% in the 13 weeks leading up to February 11th due to the popularity of slime made using Elmer's glue.
I wonder if they had anything to do with that Instagram slime and like if it was like a marketing.
I don't know.
I seriously doubt they're that intelligent.
Yeah, if someone did, they made a lot of money if they came up with that. That's for sure.
Because I feel like it's just like sliming hasn't been around since like the 90s for it to make such a comeback out of the blue.
This isn't the sliming like you pour on your head. It's not the Nickelodeon slime. So I was serious about this. This is like silly putty meets like a solid whipped cream type thing.
Oh.
So it's like a ball of just goo. It's not.
Is it like that stuff that used to come in the can and there was always like those foam balls in it?
It's almost like the little jar that you can squeeze the slime in and make your fart
noises.
Yeah.
That's the slime they're making.
Okay.
That's what they're making. That's the closest thing you can buy.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
And Lucas is going to have to watch his own VOD to catch this conversation about Elmer's glue.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And Ben, I just thought about it. I sent an email to all the programmers about what
I seem to remember that email.
are out there that I need to buy things, and I don't think Eddie mentioned any of them that you're talking about. Because we had the control card for the M4 valve go out, and I asked all the programmers, are there any other freaking cards out here that if they go down, we're screwed? So I'm going to have to find that email, but I don't think Eddie said anything. And that would have been his perfect time to say, yeah, I need 6 of these arcane Nintendo cards to make sure the hazard area doesn't go down. So,
I agree with you. And I remember that email.
I tried. I tried for you, baby. I tried. I'm thinking about you.
Hey, Lucas is back.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're at the house by yourself, what on earth is making you run away like that?
She came home.
Wow. That sounded really sad.
Oh, come on. You do the same thing.
Yeah, we love Allie.
But I'm usually like, oh, Allie's home. I'll be back in a minute. You're like, she came back.
It's
She's
not that bad.
alive.
Okay, so here's how this skill challenge is going to work. We're going to take turns. In fact, each of you go ahead and roll me initiative.
Oh dear.
Oh, great on that initiative. Woo.
Woo!
I get to go last. Oh, no, don't. I thought I had the 4. Ha!
Okay,
Don't you worry.
so we'll start out with Octavia and then Caden. And what you're going to do is you're going to describe for me some action and the skill associated with it that you want to take, whether it be to try to gather more information, to try to go explore somewhere, whatever it is you think you're going to be doing. I will assign a difficulty either of, easy, medium, or difficult that will correspond to the skill check DC. And instead of the sort of normal, 6 failures to complete or 6 successes or 3 failures, whichever comes first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I will allow you guys to continue to press it as long as you want. But there is a specific number of failures that if you get to that, you will then find out the consequences.
Ooh, mystery. I like it.
And I'm going to go ahead and write down that number so there's no questions about, oh, well, you just made up. It was 2 because we failed twice.
So we end it as soon as Octavia finishes her check, right?
You lose.
We don't want to press it any further. We don't want to do it.
This is like press your luck. Okay.
We can double our money, huh?
Well, every success means you're going to discover something,
Right.
find out some more information, maybe even find treasure. Who knows? Depends on what you guys decide you want to do.
Right.
But we're going to start with Octavia.
Okie doke. So I'm gonna stick to the plan, and I assume we're all kind of up by the wagons now. Cool.
Yeah, I'll say you've just finished taking all the stuff down there.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way back up then, and I'm going to try and find maybe where like the people kind of gather, like maybe get an idea as to where people go after they drop off the treasure. And if I can, I just like to try and strike up a conversation with people. So I mean, right now I'll just kind of be lurking around the castle, get an idea as to where things are. So maybe I guess it'd be a perception check, just looking around, seeing if I get a good idea as to where to go.
Okay. I'd say that trying to get a feel for where people are, kind of what their areas are, I'll say that's a relatively easy perception check.
Oh.
I rolled it. Did you roll it?
I haven't seen it come through yet.
I rolled it. It was a good roll.
Well, I'm sure it'll show up in just a second.
It was a 21 on the D20.
Mm-hmm.
I can roll it again.
Oh.
Okay, it went that time. That was not what I got, but that's what I got this time.
Well, you'll be happy to know that is a success.
Yay.
Okay.
So,
I've succeeded.
what you're able to see is that around the lower courtyard, you can tell, as you kind of wander around just a little bit, first thing you notice is that on top of those gate towers, over the course of a few minutes, you count at least 3 ogres.
Oh, gee, that's good.
And the doors going into this area, you notice, are relatively large. Not just tall for like a giant, but wide as well. So you're thinking that whatever's over there, I mean, it could be just like a hall area where maybe like a big entrance door or something. But it does seem to be kind of up against one of the walls of the courtyard. So maybe it's like an outbuilding. You're not entirely sure. You already know where the kitchen is. You haven't really seen too many people moving in and out of this more secluded area. But after a few minutes, you do see one cultist that is dressed like some of the cultists you've seen before. He's got, he's kind of wearing a scimitar, got a little bit of armor on, that kind of thing. And you see him come out of that door, make his way over to the kitchen, and then go back. So this is the only location you've seen any normal cultist-looking people enter or exit.
I will go to that door.
Well, it's not your turn anymore.
Well, I will on my turn. I'm ready.
So, I believe it was Caden next.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, would Caden be able to kind of browse these tunnels a little bit? Not with the intent of, I guess, like with the intent of kind of Sherlocking out what their purpose is. Like why some of these are larger than others. Others are clearly like more narrow funnels. Some slide up, some slide down. There are openings to the outside. Like, would he be able to like investigate to Sherlock this lower level, the ice tunnels?
Absolutely. We'll make that an investigation check. I'll say it's a medium difficulty.
All right.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Thanks
Wait,
a
wait, wait,
lot,
wait,
man.
wait. Does he have portent?
He has to use portent before the rolls.
Oh. Well, he should have his portent rolls.
He does have inspiration.
I'm gonna go ahead and use that inspiration then to investigation again. Slightly better. Significantly better than one.
Yeah.
So, with that, he's struggling with this, and he doesn't wander too far into where the dragon is,
Right.
but he does like move around a little bit more in the tunnels to get a little bit better feel for what's going on. And he can see that some of these seem to be like quick access tunnels from different parts of this cave system. He can see towards the back of the room, over that treasure pile, and not too far from where the dragon is roosting in the ceiling, that there's like another small tunnel entrance. He can see a tunnel entrance off this way. Basically, he gets the feeling that there are a couple of access points that would allow this dragon to exit these tunnels. And he also thinks that this effectively is serving as this dragon's lair. So he thinks most of these tunnels were probably made by the dragon just as, maneuvering spots, or, who knows why.
All right.
Okay. Next would be Xavier.
All right, Xavier's going to seek out the ever so helpful cultists that has been helping him and ask him about the purple one, just to try to strike up conversation and see if he can get a name.
Okay, and what sort of skill roll would you like to make?
I would say I'm gonna say insight, because I'm gonna drop the name Resmir in that conversation, and I want to judge his body language off of it.
Okay, so how are you approaching this conversation? You say you want to talk about the purple one. Drop the name Resmir.
Yeah. I'll say he comes in, and he's gonna start the conversation about the purple one, excuse my ignorance, but I serve the white. Is the purple one Resmir? And he's gonna see if he gets what kind of reaction he gets
Okay.
out of him.
All right. I'll say it's a medium difficulty.
Okay. Yeah. 22.
Nice.
All right. At the name Resmir, you can definitely see this guy kind of, perk up. Like his attention is immediately focused on you. And you get the feeling he's trying to sort of read you.
Okay.
And he basically responds that, yes, his lady, the worm speaker Resmir, is so effectively over or in charge of this castle. But you get the distinct impression something you said, something the way you phrase your questions, has got this guy a little on edge.
Okay. And to after that part of the conversation, he'll say, just want to make sure I'm addressing our superiors correctly. I don't want to be in trouble for making a mistake. And that'll be my section.
All right. Numa.
Do I see any other? So how are we going to play this? Where when Octavia noticed all the other cultists going to that door, that we saw the same thing, or is it
I'm going to say largely you guys have you've basically split up in some ways to deflect attention.
Okay.
So there's basically none of you necessarily knows yet what the other ones have seen.
Okay. Well, are there any cultists near my location?
If you're in the courtyard, when kind of as you guys each split up to start putting your plans into effect, no, there's no obvious grouping of cultists or anyone standing around.
Okay. So, I will search for a cultist person to discourse with.
Okay. What skill are you going to be using?
Well, I guess.
Please tell me you're going to talk about fine china.
We might get to that. I might use that as an icebreaker. But so I guess that will be just a perception check. I think I double clicked that. And there it goes.
Well, in this case, I'll say that because you're doing the same check as Octavia, that you basically just stuck with her, and you don't gain any additional knowledge from this check.
Okay, well, then I'm going to approach that door where we've seen the other cultists go.
Okay. So on your next turn, you'll have a chance to do something else.
Yes, thank you.
Aravan.
So I think Aravan is going to start off by giving a tug on his head of disguise and taking on the appearance of Talus the White. And this spiral staircase we saw that went down, that we took the crates down, did it also go up from
It does.
I'd like to go up that way and try to learn what's in the upper levels of this castle.
Okay.
And like, should I come across any other cultists or the like in this area, trying to persuade them to tell me where the higher ups in the cult are supposed to be going?
Okay. So what sort of skill check would you like to do?
I'd like to try like a persuasion to try and suss out where the leaders of the cult are based here, like where headquarters is on the castle.
All right. So go ahead and make me that persuasion check. And I'm going to say this is going to be a medium challenge.
All right.
20. Woohoo. Man, we've been rolling good.
You have so far.
First round.
Don't you jinx it now, okay? We just got
Spices
started.
things up.
So, you head up the stairs, and it is like it's a long slog up the stairs. It's probably 100 to 120 feet up the stairs before you come to the upper courtyard. And as you step out, you're able to see that you still haven't come to the top of this kind of central core of ice, if you will.
Wow.
There's still more of it above you, and you can see behind you, right about there, you can see a tower it looks like it's a little bit damaged, but it's kind of extending straight up from there. And over on this side, you see another tower. So can you see those two things up there?
Okay, there. Yeah. That's cool.
So there's that one. There's that one.
The first one you pointed to is the one that looks damaged?
Yes.
Okay.
So the other thing you see is that this upper courtyard is much more windswept. You come above the exterior walls of this floating castle, and there are you can count about 9 ogres up here in the courtyard. And they are throwing javelins at targets, kind of arrayed against that wall.
Awesome.
And they're about the only ones you see that you can approach and try to talk to. So, working up your courage, you start walking over to them, and the first one looks back at you and says, "What's this then? What you want, court lady?"
Well, fine, sir. I'm looking for your superiors. Where are the ones who give you your orders?
You want talk Blagoskus?
Indeed, I do.
Well, all right, I guess. Come with me.
I will follow.
And he starts leading you in this direction.
Damn it, Lucas, you were right.
About what?
The name. I was wrong.
All part of my plan.
Okay. So we're back to Octavia.
Okay, I am going to go through this door.
Okay. And when you open the door, what you see is a large barracks that has about a dozen cultists wearing that same sort of leather armor. You've seen and fought these guys before.
Oh, good.
And the barracks itself it smells of unwashed bedding, and
Oh, good.
there are, looks like about 14 fur-covered beds. And it looks like almost all of them are occupied. There's 10 people in there. 5 of them seem to be asleep. A couple are sitting on their beds, like either writing on something or kind of polishing their sword. And the other 3 are sitting at the table playing some sort of card game.
Does anyone noticeably look up when I open the door?
Yeah, I mean, the ones who are awake kind of look up, and they sort of give you an odd look.
I'd like to approach one of them. Just one of them that noticed me.
And what sort of skill would you like to use? And what are you trying to do?
It's probably going to be persuasion, I'm guessing. But the conversation I'm going to have is, I've been traveling for what feels like years. So can anyone please direct me to a place I can go get a drink around?
All right. Well, as is always the case with skill checks, if you keep using the same ones over and over, the difficulties go up just by nature of reusing skills.
Last time I used perception, though.
Well, yeah, but Aravan just used persuasion.
Oh. Well,
But I'll give you a slight grace period since you're dealing with different groups. So you go in, you're asking for somewhere to get a drink.
Yeah.
And I'll say this is going to be a medium difficulty.
yeah, I didn't have.
So yeah, that's not going to.
First fail, guys.
Do you want to fail, or do you want to use your inspiration to try to re-roll it?
I'll try and. Oh, goodness. I'll use my inspiration. Why not? Persuasion. Don't let me down. Come. Hopefully that makes it.
I'll say that in fact does
Oh,
succeed.
Oh, that was lucky.
So 2 good uses of your inspiration so far. And the one of the guys at the table looks up and says, "Oh, haven't had a good drink in, God, it seems like months now. I know they've got ale in that storeroom, but they keep it locked up. They won't let any of us in there. Something about not wanting us being drunk on watch. As if you need to watch in a flying fucking castle."
My thoughts exactly. I mean, are they afraid we're going to run into a mountain?
And
If so,
they kind of chuckle a little bit, but not much. You get the feeling they're laughing at your feeble attempt at humor because, you know, you're female and there's only like 2 of them here.
Can I walk over and see what card game they're playing?
On your next turn, sure.
Okay, that's my next. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm gonna be part of the boys, guys.
Caden.
Careful. Never happened last time.
I know.
Caden would like to make his way up to the lower courtyard level of the castle.
Mhm.
And like this time trying to survey the castle itself, like trying to see if he recognizes it from any old lore books or anything that he might have read in his studies to determine like whether this castle has descended and attacked before to try and get like a better idea of what it's capable of, as well as maybe finding out who or what is like running this castle, and if that is a threat that we might have to be concerned about or something like that.
Okay. Well, that certainly is going to be a history check.
All right.
And I'll actually say this is going to be a relatively easy one. So.
All right. Damn it, Caden. Damn it, Adam.
Lucky for you, that barely makes it.
Can we roll his important rolls just in case we need to secure
Sure.
for future of his rolls?
A
Oh my
19.
God.
Okay, so a 19 and a 20.
Oh my God!
Jesus. Okay.
So, what he's able to, as he stops to kind of ponder this and think about it, he thinks back to kind of the history of the world before man really arrived on the scene. It's a kind of history that really only elves and dwarves keep up with. When giants more or less ruled the world. And there was a great war between giants and dragons that more or less destroyed the giant civilization and drove most of the dragons out of more prominent populated areas and kind of back into a little more secluded layers. It was very destructive to both civilizations. And afterwards, the elves and dwarves were able to rise to more prominence. But he knows that there are legends of basically exactly this: giant floating castles constructed by the giants back in the days when they were, more, I guess I'd say civilized, but when they had more control over the surface world and their magics had ascended to heights not necessarily seen in more recent times. So he gets the impression that he's basically walking around in a floating artifact and straight out of legend. So, there you go. Xavier.
All right, so
Give me 2 seconds to go get the dog some water, and then you'll be up.
don't know what to do here, guys.
The 2 rolls I made for his important rolls were rolled as Aravan.
That's okay.
All of my rolls made as Caden have been fairly poor, but Aravan have been doing all right.
I don't know where else to go with this, man.
You could inquire about the Griffins or like those guys.
Yeah, but we've already gone
Yeah.
through a lot of
Yeah.
our skills. I'm not trained in the talking.
Make your way out and try and sneak a peek into the room where the Black Claw was. I don't know.
No, well, that's definitely it. I'm thinking about that. I'm just
Sleight
not-
of hand during a card game for information.
It really depends on where I'm located on the map.
Right.
Because if
That's
I'm in
what I
the
was
kitchen,
thinking.
then I'm probably gonna move towards
Yeah.
getting myself into trouble.
I'm in the same boat right now. I don't know what I'm being led towards.
You're probably being led towards like the leader of the castle.
That's entirely possible. The one who gives them orders, the one who's bossing these ogres around. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Xavier, what you
All
doing?
right. So, am I still in the kitchen, or where am I at talking to this guy?
I'm going to say that you've wrapped up your conversation and you politely excuse yourself from the kitchen again.
Okay.
And he's still sort of eyeing you.
Okay. So I step out into the courtyard, away from line of sight of that guy. Do I see anybody specifically watching where I'm standing on the right side of the right door? Taking a
Once
quick
you can
glance
tell,
around.
no one is monitoring specifically that point.
Okay.
Like you don't actually have line of sight to anybody that's kind of on watch.
I'm going to step out of line of sight of him and cast.
So I assume you're closing the door to the kitchen.
Yeah. I'll close the door behind me, and then I'll cast disguise self to look like that cultist. And then I'm going to walk back up to the Black Claw room, who I believe is Resmir. Knock on the door, and come up with a bullshit lie of why she needs to leave the room.
Okay. So I guess that's going to be a deception.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a challenging one.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Don't suppose I can take a portent from Cade.
Unfortunately, Caden's portents only apply to his rolls or attacks that he can see.
All right. Deception. All right, here we go.
You can do it.
Nope.
Oh, jeez.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. But I'm still disguised as him.
You are still disguised as him. And you hear through the door, "What is it now?"
I say, I think there's someone trying to steal from the Dragon Horde.
What? There's been no alarm raised.
I saw someone
You're
shooting.
having troubles? Call out the dragon wings and go down there and take care of it. I don't want to be disturbed.
Yes, oh, purple one. And I will stealth away to the northern part of that courtyard.
Up in this room, too.
Yeah, that area, just to try to get more lay of the land in there.
Okay. So, what you see is, again, this is kind of like a atrium entryway, this particular part. There's a door over there, and a door over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this door, you'd think, leading back out to the courtyard.
Okay, but
And
only
one thing-
one entrance into that space.
Yeah, and one thing that I failed to mention earlier, but you guys would have at least sort of gotten a look at,
Mm-hmm.
is that these places right here
Mm-hmm.
and right there, those are actually like 8-foot or more like 15-foot tall, about 8-foot wide archways.
Oh,
So you can sort of kind of see into this room or this area, but not really. So since
I
no
wish I would have known that.
yeah, sorry.
It's okay. My full intention was to try to get a hunter's mark off on her. All right. Cool. All right. I'll guess I'll just chill out in that area for now.
All right. So that was a deception check.
A massive failure.
Yeah, pretty much. Numa.
All right, so I followed Octavia into the bedrooms. I'm going to do I'm going to do a performance check on my acting ability. I'm going to act somewhat shocked that I had just met a dragon guarding a treasure, and I'm going to enter the room somewhat in shock. Try to have a shocked face and sincerely ask, not sarcastically ask, but sincerely ask, who put a dragon in the treasure room?
Okay, so I get that you're going for shocked.
Yes.
What sort of shocked are we going for?
Like, I cannot believe that there's a dragon in the treasure room.
Okay, but
Disbelieved shock.
okay.
Just have rats.
Somewhat in awe. Yeah.
Okay, that's the kind of term I was looking for. So you're
Yeah.
okay. So you're in awe and just
So in general,
stunned.
In general, I want to give the impression of a somewhat green cultist, so that they would just they might actually tell me because I'm so naive, which is not far from actually Numa's.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say this is gonna be a moderate difficulty for you in this situation.
Yes, I agree. So.
Unfortunately, that is not going to pass a moderate difficulty check.
Is that persuasion or performance?
That was persuasion.
It doesn't matter. They're both the same.
Yeah, but you need to roll performance so
Roll
that
the
it's
right roll. Come on. Better than
Oh,
9.
I'm sorry.
this is your free reroll.
Better than 9. Better than 9. Or hey.
So as you stumble in, you're starting to think, "Oh God, I better put on a good performance. I got to persuade these guys." And you think, "No, I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to be the actor I've always dreamed of being."
Pukes on the floor.
And like they look at you, as you kind of follow Octavia in, and you start this almost stuttering, like imagine that you're trying to be a 13-year-old girl right after meeting Justin Bieber.
I've done that.
Indeed you have. So they're, they kind of look at you like, God, not another one of these.
Oh.
And
I would like to follow that up.
one of them, who's kind of sitting on the bed, just looks at you and says, "Did you not think that the cult of Tiamat could have dragons at their call? Why else would you join? Surely the power and glory of the dragons is what called you to us."
It was but a dream that I would be called to see a dragon, and the reality was much more than I imagined. Where can I lay my weary head?
Well, we're full up in here. Have to find another spot. Perhaps you can bed down in the stables with the wyverns. And the ones at the table start to laugh.
No, really. Where's another bed?
And he looks at you like, "No, really. Somewhere else, noob."
He goes, you put the wrong cartridge in the database.
Well, okay, so I'm going to slither out ashamed now, since I've gathered all I can out of those guys. And I'm just going to leave Octavia to her womanizing.
All right. Airman,
Yes, sir.
you are being led by an ogre. And this ogre is taking you around this gigantic mound. Past a few different interesting things, including a couple of what almost look like tunnel entrances in the side of this mound of ice.
On the kind of side view image you gave us, I noticed from down below there were like a couple of opened archways. Can I see the other side of that from here?
Wait a second, I've got to find the side view so I can be sure we're looking at the same thing.
I'm like wondering like if there's like kind of like stables for some sort of flying creatures.
Okay, yeah, those big open archways.
Yeah.
You can't really tell, but there are these doors here.
Okay.
And there, and there.
Okay.
So you don't see those big archways.
All right.
But you do see the towers.
All right.
And eventually you get brought around until you are face to face with the entrance. And we'll try to get all this cleared. Very big maps. Okay. You are brought to a tower that it's at least, it could be 50, maybe 100 feet tall. And there's one door that this ogre is bringing you to. And he pounds on the door for just a second and then opens it up. And you hear a silver chime ring in kind of the echoing openness of this tower. And inside, you see 4 more ogres. But these are wearing very fancy plumed helmets. And the ogre who's escorting you calls in, "Oi, this court lady wants to talk to Blagorthkus. I thought I should bring her to you, since you said that if anyone came upstairs and asked around, I should bring them to you." And one of the other ogres in the fancy helmets steps up and goes, "Right, I take this one. You done good. Now get back work, you bloody git." And the one who's escorting you, Aye, sir," and like smacks his head. So,
And before that guy, the one who escorted me, turns to leave, I'd like to kind of give him like a little, like the lightest of bows in his direction, tell him to show him a thanks for directing me this way.
and he doesn't really know what to do with that, so he just leaves.
Okay.
So, You are now standing in front of 4 fancily helmeted ogres. What would you like to do? And what sort of skill would you like to use?
Seeing this plumage that they're adorned with, could I get any sort of maybe a religious read off? Like if it's 5 different colored feathers, like signify Tiamat, or maybe this is more of a giant's god, or something else entirely. Is this
just make me an insight check, and this will not be your skill check.
All right. Hey.
This seems to be like an honor guard sort of situation.
All right.
Like these guys are of a higher rank than the ogres you saw out in the courtyard. But you're pretty sure none of these are Blagothkus.
Okay. So, turning to the one who said he's going to take me up with it. Right, then. Where are my quarters? And... Man, I don't... Could I just try a straight charisma check with this guy?
Sure. I'll say, yeah, this would probably be an easy charisma check.
I'm told the ogre to lead me to my quarters where all the higher ups are supposed to be. Phew. Could I use my inspiration?
You sure could.
Oh, right. Let's see. Or,
No.
Okay. So,
still gonna blame Adam for that.
you look at this guy and you say, "All right, where are my quarters?" He's like, "Oh, you come with me." And he grabs you by the arm and starts marching you upstairs.
Oh. Okay.
It's falling apart, guys.
And inside this tower, what you can see is that, first of all, there's really no windows. There are a couple of doors on the ground floor, but there's a staircase that hugs the interior wall. And you look up, and the ceiling's 30 feet above your head.
Oh, boy.
And the ogre is taking you over to the staircase and stomping and walking you up the stairs. And as you get to the top of the stairs, you also notice that the walls, as you get to the top of the stairs, the first thing you notice is the walls are sculpted, and they're icy murals, and it looks like they're depicting humanoid figures, riding birds, but the scale just seems all wrong. Right up until it clicks and you realize that these are cloud giants depicted riding what has to be rocks. Because there's no bird that could possibly be big enough to carry a cloud giant other than a rock. And as you top the stairs, you see, sitting kind of in the middle of the floor on this next level up, is a blue-skinned giant.
Oh, jeez.
With legs crossed. And 2 ogres are using massive combs to comb out his snowy white hair. And there is a morning star that is easily as big as you are.
Does this guy look similar to the types of giants depicted on the walls, or like a different type of giant?
He looks pretty similar to the kind depicted on the walls.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay.
Like I said, there's this morning star, and the head of the morning star is probably 3 feet in diameter.
Oh, that looks painful.
And it's leaned up against a chair near the giant, easily within arm's reach. Okay. Octavia.
Well, let's see where that could happen, right? After Numa
Well,
leaves,
some undisclosed number of failures to go, and you'll find out.
I know, right? That'll be great. After Numa leaves, I'm gonna like point over my shoulder, like with my thumb, and kind of shake my head and say, "New kids, huh?"
And the one that you've been talking to at the table kind of looks and says, you're new here too. You need a bed to share.
I may be new, but at least I knew what I signed up for. And I'd like to do a religion check, maybe. You tell me if it's right or wrong, because I want to kind of go into a little bit of background about, because I've read a lot about Tiamat and Bahamut, and so I'm going to try and use my knowledge of what I know about Tiamat, but instead of, when you're reading about it, you're like, oh, this is all the bad shit. I'm going to say, no, this is all the good shit that Tiamat did, So I'm going to try and, appeal to them through what I know through my religion practices. So you're kind of strike up a conversation of, you're signed up for.
So basically you're trying to kind of use your religious knowledge to show off, oh God, isn't Tiamat amazing? Isn't it awesome how we're going to destroy the world? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of show them, I'm on your side, guys. I know what I'm talking about. You never even saw a dragon before. What a noob. So,
okay.
That's religion, yes?
Sure.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's a good thing for you. This was going to be an easy check because
good.
These guys like talking about their, how Tiamat's going to rule the world.
And gain their trust before I seek good information.
And, they seem to be, especially the two that were already kind of lounging on their beds, kind of turn away and kind of, oh, here we go, another one of these. But the three at the table seem to be at least mostly interested in talking about kind of what they envision their future looks like. And they invite you to join their card game.
I will gladly join. And during this conversation, can I maybe ask a few questions? Or will that be next check?
We'll probably just do a check to see what sort of, what sort of information are you looking for, and I'll pass it on. But I am curious. Being a cleric in Bahamut service, you have a holy symbol.
Oh, shit.
What have you done with it?
It's my ring.
Holding it out predominantly?
It's one of my rings, definitely. I thinking of this before I come into a cultist castle, I probably would have, put gloves on.
So you're wearing gloves.
Yeah, wearing gloves. I don't want to take it off. I already said terrible things, so I'm already going to be, smited down, and I don't want to take my holy symbol off and be desecrated forever, so.
And are you going to join their card game?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to tell them politely that I'm not. I'd be happy to join the conversation, but I'm no good with the cards.
Well, that's the best kind, isn't it, guys? Uh,
Yeah, funny. Funny guys.
but they accept that you're just going to sit there at the table.
Oh, good. I can leave my gloves on without them thinking I'm cheating. That's good. We're good. But my questions
So-
were going to be for like. Now I know we're trying to summon the Great Tiamat. I just curious, where in the world is this castle going to be able to do such a feat like that? I don't recall reading or hearing exactly where the location is.
Okay. Any other questions?
How in the world did we come across this flying castle? The chances, dragons, and giants working together, huh? That's the day.
Okay. So,
Gonna go with.
let's see. All right.
I know what I'm talking about, but I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, well.
So, none of the questions you managed to weave the questions in with more mundane conversation, and the guys at the table don't seem to really think anything of what you're asking. And basically, the information you get back is kind of, yeah, we've been trying to figure that out too. They never tell us anything. They keep all that stuff super secret because they don't, because people in charge just like to feel like they're better than everybody else. So, they don't want to tell us anything.
Man.
But they throw out some interesting theories about what they're going to do. Like, one of them says that he figures that they're going to use all that gold and silver and stuff. They're going to melt it down and make a statue, like of Tia. How they're going to like animate with her spirit, and that's why they're having to gather all this treasure. Another one basically says, that's a bunch of bullshit. Whatever they've got planned, I bet it's just they want all this treasure for themselves. I bet they don't have any master plan. They're just wanting to collect all this stuff. It's like, I bet it's like if they were really serious about it, they'd turn the dragons loose more than they do. They'd really just like lay waste to stupid Waterdeep and all the hoity-toity nobles there. And the third guy basically says, I don't care what they're doing. I just want to be there when we make all those rich, evil bastards pay for what they've done to us little people.
Okay. I'll just kind of watch the card game until my next turn. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do.
All right. Caden.
Caden will make his way towards the room that Xavier described as Kobold's kitchen / alchemical laboratory. Both to see if any kind of progress is being made in this room, but also to determine if any sort of magical components are being brewed up in here by the cultists.
Okay. I'll say that since I assume he's still concentrating on his find or detect magic spell, that he can just kind of walk by the wall of the kitchen and recognize there's no magical anything in there.
Okay. That's good to know. And
I will say you can skip his turn if you want.
yeah, because my plan was just to Arcana the contents of this room, try and see if or anything. But yeah,
Do I see Caden walking that way from where I'm standing?
I'm going to assume that the door is closed behind you.
Oh, okay.
So no, you would
I'm
not
closed
see.
in here.
So maybe just I'll say he tries to like strike up a conversation with some of the kobolds. You know, he's encountered them before, knowing they're kind of more simple-minded. Maybe he'll have an easier time sussing information out from them, whether they mean to or not.
Okay. So I guess that would be like probably a persuasion roll if he's just trying to kind of be nice to him and talk to him.
There we go, Aiden. Better than Arabad.
So he walks in and starts speaking Draconic to a couple of kobolds who seem to be stirring a big pot. And what sort of information is he after?
Kind of just like the basics, like where we're going, and I guess if they've seen the Black Half Dragon Rezmir, like if she treats him well or something like that.
So as he starts asking, kind of instantly, like, so, what do you guys do here? Where are we headed anyway? And that kind of stuff. The response he gets back from the kobolds is the kobold equivalent of zug zug. So,
All right. That was my mother's name. Okay.
So basically, they're peons. They do what they're told.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Xavier.
All right, so I'm still disguised as the cultist, and I move towards the northeastern door. But so I'm gonna kind of stand there, and I'm gonna pull out my steel mirror to kind of look behind me. And I'm gonna cast Mage Hand, and I'm gonna have it pick the lock to Rezmir's room, or who I believe is Rezmir's room.
Okay.
So I guess it'll be a sleight of hand to get into there. But using the mirror, if I pick the lock and she comes bolting out like craziness, I'm gonna walk through the door.
The one
to the northeast. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of be watching my back, directing the mage hand. I'm gonna pick the lock and have it open the door, and then proceed from there.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a sleight of hand or thieves tool check or whatever the appropriate check is for picking a lock.
16.
As you're trying to use your tools and you don't see or feel that click you're waiting for.
Okay.
But luckily, it doesn't seem to have brought any attention either.
I see. All right. Well, I'll walk through that door then.
Okay.
I'll come back for another day.
Well, we'll wait for your next turn to walk through that door.
Yep.
So, Numa.
So I'm going to cross from the door that I just exited north towards that, I guess, larger door next to the archway. But as I walk, I'm going to glance into those archways. Yes.
Okay. So as you go walking by, and you glance into the archway, what you see is really quite surprising but interesting. You see that this room is almost frost glazed, if you will. And in the middle of it, there's a large table of carved stone. And just from the look of it, like this, the top of the table is above your head. It's you think it's probably a good couple of feet above your head. But there are massive chairs around the table, also carved from stone. And what you can see is some type of giant standing at the table, kind of like staring down at it, and another giant sitting on one of the chairs. So that's what you see as you kind of walk past the archway.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to walk past. And now I do have a visage of shock and awe, and I'm not acting. So that's, wow, okay.
So you reach that door.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go in that door as soon as I can, because me not liking giants.
Okay, so you open the door. It's unlocked, and you see this kind of atrium entry hall sort of thing. And you see a door to your left. No, this is kind of enclosed.
Okay. Is this door also like 18 feet tall, or is it just normal?
All the doors are giant sized, like
oh, awesome.
15, 16 feet tall, wider than you're used to.
What door did Numa go through?
That one.
The one just north of
then
that
he probably
archway.
sees me in disguise then.
Yeah, you do see a cultist standing right there.
Okay. Did I know you were going to be in disguise?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. All right, well.
And there is a door right there.
I will, again, knock on that door and listen for any kind of response, I suppose.
Okay, make me an investigation check. Good. I was going to say it was going to be a medium challenge, but...
Yeah.
So, using your investigation skill, you kind of tap on this door, trying not to make too much noise, because that cultist does seem to be, like, looking in a mirror. Like some sort of, like, odd little thing in his hand, but he seems to be staring intently at it, so you really don't want to disturb him. But you kind of tap on this door, there's no response. You stick your ear up to it, you listen, and there's still no response, so you go ahead and decide you're going to step through before this cultist noticed you. And in you step. Ah!
I don't like that sound.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong button.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like my picture went away. I was like,
that was the sound of the griffin screaming at you in its bedroom.
So you step inside and you see actually a very comfortably appointed room.
And that looks like my bedroom.
And in fact, it looks to have human-sized bedding and tables and various furniture.
Stable my butt. This is where I'm staying. No, is anybody here?
It does not seem to be occupied. Like the bed's still freshly made. You know, it doesn't look like anyone's clothes are laying around.
Okay, well, I'll, I mean, is there like a desk or a chest or anything else to investigate in this room?
As you look around, it looks like this is basically it's a room that's been furnished for human visitors to this place. You think maybe it's been used in the past, but whoever last used it took whatever they had with them. But it does seem to be quiet and doesn't seem to be on the routine search list or anything.
Awesome! Yes!
Yeah. Okay.
Although one strange thing does happen.
Okay.
You, as you're kind of looking around, you touch the wall right over there, and it just vanishes. And outside, like this wall just goes away, and you can feel the air that is surrounding the castle. The fog starts to kind of roll into the room, and you don't think the castle has moved yet. You don't think they've actually left this place where it was kind of docked, if you will. But if you step out on this little balcony, you can look down and there's like a cliff face near, but there's nothing underneath you. So that's what you find in that room.
I'm sorry. I thought I was talking, but I was on mute. So the northern wall, when I touched it, dissolved, or is just like an
Pretty
illusion?
much.
Okay.
No, you can walk through.
But yeah. So I mean, okay, it doesn't matter. So okay, wow.
So you
there's
kind of go out.
This is like a landing balcony type thing. I mean, it's
Basically, yeah.
Okay, that's got me concerned.
So, you step out on the balcony, look around for a second and step back inside. And as you're starting to get a little worried about the fact this wall is just gone, it comes back. It reforms.
So, can I do another check?
What for?
A nature check on, can half dragons fly?
You can think about that while other people are taking their turns.
Thank you.
Aravan,
Yep.
you have been brought before a large blue giant. And he's sitting there having his hair cared for by these ogres. And he looks at you and says, "Welcome back, Talus. What can I do for you?"
And just confidently stepping into the room. I'm gonna try something.
Uh-oh. Thunderous Smite.
Oh.
I'm trying to avoid that to the best of my ability, despite how far down the same rabbit hole I'm going. Lagoscus, it's so good to see you again. But unfortunately, it has come to my attention that one of our members within your beautiful castle is believed to be working towards her own means and no longer aligned with that of the cult. If you can recall the Black Wing, Resmir, her own offerings have grown lighter and lighter with every delivery. And even now, the reports have all but failed to continue to flow in from her previous castle that she was gifted in the swamplands. And even the two black dragons that she originally claimed were aligned with us are growing slower and slower in their own efforts. We believe her to be pulling out from the cult, and we fear that not only will this create a problem for our own end goals, but this could become a problem for you as well. Should the men and dragons she aligned herself with and brought into the cult become a problem for all of us, unless she is dealt with more swiftly. This being your fortress and all, I thought it wiser to come to you to inform you of this. I brought with me a number of individuals capable of taking her out in secrecy, but I believe it best that her treacherous nature be made an example of for the entirety of the castle, so that so that the cultists who remain do not follow it foolishly in her same footsteps. So that the dragons she brought with us know where we stand at all times. So that the cult members who are even thinking of betraying us think twice before ever making such a mistake again. For this wouldn't just be a problem for us, but it would be a problem for you as well. Should those dragons descend upon us, it will not just be our cult that they are aiming to wipe out. You're more than well aware of your history, I'm sure. And if possible, I'd like to try to roll an intimidation check to try and, like, at the very least, get this guy slightly concerned that something bad could be coming his way.
A little riled up.
Unless like, we deal with it of our own.
I'll allow you to make an intimidation check, but first I'm going to need you to make me a deception check, and this one's going to be difficult.
All right.
Oh, geez.
Come on!
I love the
Wish we had that
play-doh, by the way.
inspiration.
Come on, dice!
You got this.
Oh no!
Damn it!
So,
So,
oh, no.
as you're delivering this speech, you see an odd expression come over his face, his very giant face, and you see him kind of go, and as you finish, he looks at you and he says,
Oh no.
I'm going to give you one opportunity. Do not waste it. Who are you that hides behind an illusion of an illusion of Talus, Cult of the Dragon member, and yet smells of heavy armor, sweat, and rust? Do not anger me, foolish little one.
My hand's gonna go straight up for the hat of disguise and dispel it as quick as I can. And this time, like, as soon as the illusion is dispelled, bowing my head and dropping to one knee and proclaiming myself to be Erevan Solvakos. I have not lied about my purpose for being here, though I was deceiving you in my appearance. I am here on behalf of Talus the White, and her orders stand firm. Rezmir is to be expunged from the cult and made an example of.
I care not for the doings of your cult. Your petty struggles for power amuse me. I have struck my bargain, and as long as you and your kind hold to it, I will not bother you, as you have agreed not to bother me.
Very well then, I trust I won't be interrupted when our business is made public. And standing myself up.
Make me an insight check real quick.
Oh my god!
This is so scary.
Oh my, you have no idea how scary this is.
Oh, there you go. I'm not anywhere near you to help you, Erevan, this time. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm well aware. I have no intentions of smiting this guy on my own.
Something in particular about the way he said your cult struck you. You are, for some reason, you're convinced that he neither cares nor even supports this cult of Tiamat.
The cause.
That is very good news.
And for some, like I said, if you hadn't rolled that well, you wouldn't know quite this much. But there's something that makes you want to be a little more honest about what you're doing.
And should we
So,
have it?
Octavia,
Oh, yes.
That's so cold.
Oh,
Brian shaking in his boots.
yeah.
How can
Hello,
I
Kat.
ask you that? Like, Jesus. Oh my goodness. God. Okay.
and since we're roughly 9 minutes away from the end of the session, or thereabouts, I will go ahead and reveal you guys have 3 failures right now. 4 is your magic number.
Oh, gee.
Oh,
And you can think back and think, wait a second, we only failed 2. No. Even though Xavier succeeded on his discussion with the guy in the cook in the kitchen, he took a failure along with it because of the subject matter he selected.
Oh, fun.
fair enough. But we've had a lot of successes.
You have. I think you guys have learned a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, our conversation has kind of died down in this room, hasn't it? They're just kind of playing cards. And...
Yeah, I mean, once they realize that you're not really going to, A, gamble with them, or B, take any of their crude and repetitive hints about, sharing beds, they've kind of lost interest in you.
Okay, well then I am going to kindly and politely make my leave. I look forward to working with you all around here. And as interesting as your proposals sound, I think it's time for me to find my own bed. Thank you. I will leave.
So you walk out.
Yeah. And I'm gonna look around, see if there's anything different. I noticed that those 3 ogres were up there, but really kind of taking a breath that things didn't go bad in there.
You are, look, at this point, it's probably been an hour-ish since you guys kind of broke up and started doing all your own things. In fact, Octavia, I'm going to have to say, because of the nature of what you were doing, the conversation, sitting around, I'm going to say you're probably in time still there while Erevan is, having his conversation with the giant.
Yeah.
And, so for now, I'm actually going to say you're still in there.
Oh, that's fine.
You've got several minutes or longer of waiting if nothing else goes wrong.
That's perfectly fine. I'm just kind of carrying on our original conversation, talking about castle, whatever. I don't have any particular checks that I can think of to do right now. I think I got the information I was looking for, so I'm satisfied.
Caden has dropped his attempts at conversation with the kobolds. I'll say when he steps back out of the kitchen, he's got enough time to see Numa walk across this way to those doors. So he could probably just follow behind Numa if he wanted.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
And I'll say he steps through this door just in time to see Numa step through that one.
All right.
But he also sees this cultist down here. So is there anything he would like to do?
just the one cultist in this area, right?
Yeah. At this point, I'm going to say the cultist has kind of stopped paying attention to that thing in his hand. And Xavier, if you want, I can say you notice that Caden is at that door.
Yeah, I pocket the mirror and I will start heading towards Caden.
Okay, Caden, the cultist is walking towards you.
Caden's gonna start casting a sleep spell.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a Arcana check.
Okay.
So you easily get the sleep spell off,
In theory.
but I believe the maximum hit points you could roll are probably below Xavier's actual hit points. So, Xavier, you see Caden like wave his hands real quick and say something, and you feel this wave of like lethargy come over you, but you kind of shake it off and stumble towards him.
I kind
And
of
it's your turn.
I lift up my hand and I kind of wave my finger. No, no, no. And then I point towards the door. And
Behind me or the new door?
the Numenor.
Are you
And-
going to drop your disguise, or are you going to say anything?
No,
or
I'm keeping the disguise. And I will walk by, grab him by the arm, and I'll pull him into the door.
Okay, so you don't even know if this door is unlocked or anything. You didn't see Numa.
No, that's fine. I'm going to pull him into that room anyway.
Okay. So Numa, you hear the door opening behind you. What would you like to do?
I'm still on that cliff, right?
No, you've come back in.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I'll say you walk in, just for the timing, you're walking back in off the balcony. The wall is still missing as these two come barging through the door.
And I kind of throw Caden a little bit, keeping up the ruse.
Oh gosh, you throw Kate.
Okay, so you see a cultist come in and like sling Caden sort of towards the bed. What do you do?
So if I attempted to climb the wall behind me, it's going to disappear again, right? I mean,
I want to say the wall actually hasn't come back just yet.
Yeah, okay.
And also, Caden would know as soon as Xavier got within range that there was a magic spell cast on him.
Okay.
Say that again. Caden wouldn't have known.
Caden knows that whoever this cultist is has a magic spell upon them.
Illusory magic.
And he would recognize it as illusion magic. Numa, however, would not.
No. Well, I think Numa would react and ask Caden, "What's happened?"
This guy just grabbed me. And giving a quick once over the room to make sure that we appear to be alone and he might be on our side. And Caden's going to point to his own face and say illusion. And then point over to the guy.
And then Numa will ask, "Reveal yourself, cultist."
And the cultist says, "Turtle formation."
It's the rogue.
So now that I have two of you here, I'm under disguise, as you can tell.
Come look
Thanks,
at this weird
Caden.
wall.
Yeah, and actually, at about this point, the wall reforms itself. Like right behind where Numa's standing.
Xavier cocks his head a little bit. This is such a strange place. I close the door, and then I tell
Caravan.
them. Oh.
So, Caravan, meet me, guys. I want to make sure I get his name. Of Blagothkus is.
Yeah, just to give you a sense, this, I'm going to say Blagothkus. Let me find him again. There we go. This, if he were, appropriately attired, is what he would look like.
Oh, Jesus.
Shit.
No big deal.
And you were
Need
mouthing
him on
off
the
to
Another
him?
outside.
Tuesday. Oh, yeah,
You're
absolutely.
his big toe.
And,
So they don't like dragons, right?
That's what I'm going to try.
I was going to say,
So,
you don't know for sure. You know that long, long ago there was a war between the giants and the dragons.
Yep.
But that was a very, very long time ago.
very long time ago. So meeting him eye to eye. I'm gonna just
Even sitting down, he's still considerably taller than you.
I mean, like looking into his eyes. This
Okay.
time, as opposed to, like averting my own vision. Meeting him so he can see my face as well. And perhaps after the business with Resmir has been dealt with, the other cult members, or even the beast that has made its lair beneath your fortress, could be expunged permanently.
You say you're on a mission from Talus, a member of your cult, fascinated by white dragons, and yet you offer to exterminate all the cultists here in my home? What exactly is your game, little one?
Well, as I said, I will speak truths with you, Blagothkus. And the cult is Talus's. We are temporarily aligned with her, and on behalf of her, to put an end to Resmir, as the two of them no longer see eye to eye, it would seem. We only do this on her behalf, but we do not work with the cult. And so if these cultists are a hindrance to you and your mission, then perhaps by keeping out of each other's business, a third party might be inclined to see to the vermin being exterminated about your castle.
You speak a most interesting riddle, small one. I am no follower or true friend of these cultists. I am using them for my own purposes. You have to understand, my kin, the giants, have grown soft. Soft from centuries of staying out of their proper place in this world. I seek to motivate my kin. I sometimes laugh at the plans that these cultists have. So yes, I allow them to use my castle to transport their treasure to the Well of Dragons, where they think they will be summoning Tiamat. But I will use the information that I gather to stir my kin into action. A good thumping of some dragons will be good for my people. If it is your desire to fight cultists, I could happily take you somewhere, make you part of my army that I'm gathering in the north. Not only will you fight cultists with us, you can fight dragons as well.
It seems the gods have indeed smiled upon us this day, as there may be nothing that would bring me greater happiness in all the Forgotten Realms.
So you wish to join me?
If your end game is indeed to smash these cultists and deal an unrecoverable blow to the dragons that they worship, then yes, I would align myself with you and your army.
And then, little one, what would you do with those who are already here?
Truth be told, I would prefer to wipe them out in their entirety, though I'm not sure we have the resources presently on my smaller number. But if these cultists and the dragon were wiped out from your castle, their treasures could become your own, to better equip and arm your own army against the cultists, against more dragons, to better rally up your kin.
Surely you are not the only one who came to this place to carry out this mission.
Indeed, I am not. I came with 4 others. Four others.
Bring them to me. I would see these champions who think they can take on the dragon, the worm speaker, and all their ilk. You must understand. I can take care of them quite easily myself. But, oh, it is amusing that they seek to make dragons a true power along the coast again. Can you imagine the nerve of these people?
It is a foolish goal indeed, but slowly they are gathering more and more dragons to their side, the coins and treasures they collect.
I make this offer to you. Bring your champions. Bring them to me. Convince me that you can handle the task that you lay out before yourselves. If you do that, well, I will help you. We will disrupt the plans of these cultists sooner than I had originally anticipated. But I warn you, should you not convince me, I will not help you. And when the cultists overwhelm you, I will laugh at your fate.
Understood. I will go get my champions.
Yes. Let me meet these mighty warriors.
With that, I will leave the room. My life still intact.
Ha! We did it.
And with that, we're going to stop tonight's session.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't see you doing that today, did you?
Right? I didn't see me walking out of that room either.
And you talk about me making deals with immense, powerful creatures.
Yeah. So, if it's okay for you, led by example.
See, I'm rubbing off on you. Subterfuge. It's working.
Geez.
I do want Xavier. I want you to make me one perception or investigation check.
Yeah. Is it for hidden doors?
Nope.
Damn. All right. 15.
While you were standing by that door, looking in your little mirror trying to pick the lock,
Mm-hmm.
you did overhear some discussion through the door. And one of the voices sounded just enough familiar to tickle a memory in your head.
Oh, jeez.
You can't quite place who it is, but you know you've heard that voice before.
I have a good guess.
I guess you'll have to find out later.
Chesco!
No, no, I've actually got... I've got a really good guess based upon using the looking glass. So,
Sarah Jessica Parker.
no.
I am curious, who is it you think?
I think it's Leosin.
What?
That is an interesting theory.
Well, when we were looking for him, and I was looking for specifically Resmir, I saw nothing but stars in the sky. And when we looked for Leosin, we saw stars in the sky, and he is the master of that sect of Harpers, so getting in and close to people would be right up his alley. It's just... I don't know. He seemed like a shady dude.
Yeah, no man, you accuse us of making deals with the devil.
Oh, it's an inside job! Numa's gonna kill us all!
Yeah, this is.
No,
Yeah,
but
Numa, how dare you be raised and
What?
tutored and taught by someone that this random thief is now accusing?
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
that's just.
Numa,
that's
how
just
dare you.
the first name that comes to mind is that. Just based on we tried looking for him and it showed up in the same sky that Resmir was. So
I do think it's funny that, it's always interesting as a DM to give what you think are clear indications of what's going on and have everybody else be like, oh, I totally didn't get that.
Yep.
Because now that it's well beyond, or you're well past this particular item, and I don't see you returning to the swamp ever again just to go find it.
That was our next session.
the looking
The
glass.
Farseer of Ilusk.
Hmm.
It is a Farseer, but it only sees out to a range of 50 miles.
Oh. Which is
So anytime you look for something that was beyond that range, all you saw was what you could see through the physical device.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was limited to the swamp, but I guess it was. Yeah.
It's about 50 miles.
So was that the only limitation on it? Just the 50 miles?
I mean, within reason.
Okay.
It was as the description would say, it is a delicate instrument and requires much study and knowledge to use effectively.
So we're turning this castle around. We're flying it back for our farseer.
Imagine having a farseer. Well, I guess if this thing is floating as high as it would, we probably wouldn't be able to see anything.
50 miles up, you'd have no air. You'd all be suffocating.
This is D&D. It's a giant floating castle. Anything can happen.
You didn't pack the oxygen tanks.
Wow.
Any highlights for the night?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Caravan. I pretty much failed at everything I was trying to do.
Caravan's performance in the giant throne room was.
Man, you pushed me to
epic.
the point where I thought I'd have to intimidate a goddamn cloud giant. Like this is all I got left. It's this or nothing. I'm not trying to do this again, guys. I swear. Oh my gosh.
Definitely worth inspiration there.
No, totally. It was good RP.
I enjoyed the skill challenge.
I
I
mean,
didn't
we
even
might
think-
actually have a giant as an ally, and that's pretty cool.
I have a giant army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, they want to kill dragons? I'm all for that, but I don't know that yet. Yeah.
You just said that we're worthy. How hard can that be?
Well,
Maybe we'll leave Octavia behind, but
I can eat a whole ham in one sitting.
clearly worthy.
you do, in fact, have an entire ham in your bag right now.
I know, I'm so excited.
So that's what, like a 15-pound item?
Yep.
I'm not sure. 15
Like
pounds?
a 15-pound ham hock stuck in your backpack as you're sitting there at this table.
Your backpack's just dripping something.
Salted pork.
Well,
We averted one crisis and we jumped into a giant shithole.
No, we haven't found the latrines yet.
No, that's true.
I was gonna say, I have to say, quite honestly, I think this night went about as well as it possibly could for you guys.
Yeah, we didn't fight
I
anybody.
think so.
Nobody died.
Yeah.
You didn't get eaten by a dragon. You didn't
That's right.
sound a general alarm. You didn't, start a fight with everything in the castle. I mean, this is an improvement for you guys.
Although the giants
we're-
told Aravan that we kind of have to fight everyone in the castle.
And the team is maturing.
But he also said if we can prove our worth, that he could assist us.
I wonder what the trial is.
I'm guessing it's a trial by combat. Like that's
It's an
Where
eating
Aravan
contest. Octavia's got us.
I can do an eating contest very well. I'm proficient in eating.
All right.
I really, really want to get into that room with where Resmir is because she had cool shit last time, and I really want to know what she kept with her, like her personal effects. Oh,
still the red wizard that hasn't been spotted.
it's probably in the same room.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Oh god,
Wizard is the white dragon.
that must have been a high DC lock, or it was an arcane lock. Because
Or it
I-
wasn't
I-
even locked.
you may find other opportunities to come back to it, so I'm not going to tell you that.
yeah, that's well. If Numa didn't show up and Caden didn't show up, I was gonna I was gonna go through the door, see what was there, and then come back and try it again. So because my hand is still kind of chilling out there for a little bit. So
All right.
wow,
Well, everyone,
great session.
I enjoyed this session.
Awesome.
I hope you did as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
Next week, I'll be sure to murder you all.
I believe it.
And then we can start the next leg of this campaign with new champions, right?
Maybe.
We could all be Goliaths, so we can be a part of the army.
We'll hear about the last party of heroes that got killed by giants and start the Giant Slayers campaign.
Yes. Storm King
know what?
Thunder, anyone?
I think that's what I'm going to do. Not that specifically. I was thinking of something else.
Murder us all off.
I think I'm going to start signing off by good night, sleep well. I'll most likely murder you next week.
Most likely murder you. I'll leave you to think about that.
Yeah, maybe
So, yeah.
maybe someday you guys can